from your local election headquarters. This is Big Country Politics on KTAB.
All right, we're back with Gary Douglas. He is the executive director, new executive director over at CASA, Big Country CASA. And I just want to get back into our conversation about CASA volunteers. And my next question is, how do you pair a volunteer with somebody in foster care? Is there a process there?
Yes, there is a definite process. The first process is that we are appointed by the judge in the family court. And so, for instance, in Judge Rotenberry's court, he will call us and say, I have a case where I would like a CASA to serve. And so that's the first step, is the judge deciding that this case that's in his court needs a CASA. Unfortunately, we can only cover about half of the children in foster care in Taylor County.
That was my next question.
And we are attempting to grow enough so that we can cover the other half. The good news is we have half the children covered that they have CASAs. The bad news is we have half the children that don't. And so typically the judge, knowing that, will choose the cases that have the most need for that representation. So the more difficult cases come our way. Once they get into our office, the judge will call with a short description of this is what I have, this is the age of the children, this is kind of the broad circumstances. And our advocate supervisors will then sit down and with their knowledge of the volunteers say, I think this case would be good for this specific volunteer. And so we try to match the strengths of our advocates with the cases that they receive so that they can do that.
So now that we know all this and what it entails and what an important job this is, how can people get a hold of you guys and say, hey, I'm interested in being that person, I'm interested in being in CASA?
Well, the easiest way for them to get information about CASA is through our website, which is www.bigcountrycasa.org. And on there is a link to express interest in volunteering, and we would love for you to do that. And our volunteer coordinator will be in touch with you and get more information to you about how you could then be a volunteer. Or they can call our office, and the number there is 325-677-6448. In either of those methods, we would love to visit with people about that. Let me mention one other thing.
Sure.
Being an advocate is not for everyone. It's a big commitment.
Sounds like it, yeah.
It is manageable, and yes, you do have time to be an advocate. We're talking probably 10 to 15 hours a month, and that will vary a little bit. But that's not a job that everyone wants, but there are people that want to be involved and want to help the children in Taylor County. And we have a part of our organization called CASA Friends, and they're the people that are behind the scenes that provide support for our advocates and our advocate supervisors and do other jobs that aren't directly related with the children but need to be done. And so at either level, we can use volunteers and we can use help to reach the children of Taylor County.
Awesome. And by the way, Taylor County Family Court, one of the busiest in Texas right now.
Yes, it is. And we are appealing to the legislature to have a CPS court set up for Amarillo, which would be an additional place for the children's cases to go. Hopefully we'll be able to do that to relieve some of the overcrowding in the other courts.
All right, Mr. Douglas, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right, and that was Mr. Douglas, a new executive director at CASA. All right, well, how about some positive news? A 7-year-old from Anson is already giving back to those in need. KTAB's Claire Kreitz has Logan's story.
Here is a blessing bag to carry you through the day. Please know that I am praying for you right now.
Meet Logan Lytle, a 7-year-old from Anson who's always had a heart for helping.
When we would see someone standing on the street corner, he would always remind me, hey Dad, we should go back and give them some food, or we should give them some money, and even days later he would ask about it.
As many 7-year-olds do, Logan loves watching YouTube videos.
People were giving homeless people like good stuff for them.
Suddenly, inspiration struck. Building blessing bags filled with the essentials.
Water and wet wipes, some lotion for them to keep their skin from getting hard.
And the final touch?
Know that nothing is impossible if you keep your faith and trust in God.
A note letting those who receive the bag know
that they are very special.
This little boy cares.
I can learn a lesson from a 7-year-old, if nothing else. He has a huge heart, and I hope it stays with him. He can make a difference someday.
And in turn, he's showing others, no matter how big or small, you yourself can be a blessing.
Do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:3-4.
All right, what a way to end the show. Way to go, Logan. All right, that does it for this week's edition of Big Country Politics. For the latest political headlines, go to bigcountryhomepage.com and join us next Sunday, same time, same place, for Big Country Politics. Thanks for watching.